Hi, everyone, and welcome to First in Cedar Knitting. This is a video blog where I talk about my knitting, what I've been up to knitting, a little bit of crochet, and as we get more closer to the summer, we'll probably see more and more crochet because I kind of tend to do that every summer. And then hopefully in the future, we'll be seeing a little bit of sewing, but I do not have a sewing machine with me here in my current place that I am, which is in the outskirts of Tokyo, Japan. Me and my family are living here. We've been here for about a year and a half, and we'll be here into the fall before we move back to the States, which is home in Denver, in the Denver area. So I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back, and let's get into it. First, we're going to start with what I'm wearing, which is also my finished object since my last podcast episode, and this is a self-drafted raglan sweater, and the yarn is hand-dyed by myself. Not by myself. I hand-dyed the yarn back in 2020 when I dabbled in yarn dyeing. It is very uneven. This was a dye that I didn't really figure out how to use. It didn't dissolve as well as the first dyes that I had used, so you have a big variation in color. My plan for this sweater, because I don't dislike it, I just don't feel like it really shows off the yarn to the best of its capacity. So my plan for this one is to over dye this sweater, and when the time comes for me to do that, I will be bringing you along so that you can see the before and after and how it works. I haven't blocked it. I will be doing that at some point. I also feel like it's very loud in here all of a sudden. I feel like blocking will do it good because the sleeves are now feeling, as opposed to when I first finished it, just a tiny bit short. I like my sleeves to come to about here, just because when I'm driving, I still want them to kind of cover my wrist completely. That's kind of my length test, is hold the steering wheel and see if it still feels warm, because in the winter, that's what I'm doing a lot of. I feel like everyone kind of does that, and so I call it the drive test. Is it long enough as you're holding the steering wheel? So my finished object, this is just a self-drafted, and I did the staggered start, which means that I started here, went back and forth, did these increases along here. Then once I got about a fourth of the way down on each side, I added the stitches here in the center. From then on, I went round and round, and I didn't have to go back and forth. I did have to come back later and pick up the stitches for the neckline, and since this is sort of a spring or fall sweater, I didn't want a big chunky collar on it. I did go bigger on the neckline too, to have more of a scoop neck than a crew neck. I feel like a crew neck would sit here, which would also look quite beautiful, but this being just more of a lightweight sweater, I wanted the bigger neck to just have a little bit of breathing space. My raglan increases, I had 2 stitches in between each increase on either side of it. I did go rather deep because, again, I wanted it airy. So my armpit ends here, and I've got quite a bit of extra fabric down under it, and it makes it very comfortable. One of my favorite fits for it. And it had been living in this little project bag, and from 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn, I had this much left, which just might be enough to make a matching, my scale's way over there, a matching little sweater for my son. And if I don't quite have enough, I do have some cream, some natural, that color, to go with it, that I could then do collar and sleeves and cuffs and like the ribbing if I don't have enough of this. So that might be an upcoming project. And then me and my son could have matching sweaters in a nice, beautiful green. This project bag, I need to empty everything that's in it, put it in with my yarn so that it is ready to be filled up with the yarn and accessories needed for the next project that I'm going to start. And that's actually going to be a mini series here on my channel, and it's going to be my first ever garment made with mohair throughout the entire sweater. I've never done it. I'm skeptical of it. I don't see what the big deal is. Is that a controversial opinion? So I decided maybe it's time I actually buy some mohair yarn to go with the yarn and knit an entire garment. So I'm going to be bringing you along with that with each step of the process. That's going to be a separate series that will probably live in this my star bag next. And yeah, on to my works in progress. We're going through this fairly quickly. As I make more and more of these, I feel like it gets a little bit easier. Not as many breaks in my takes, or not as many redos. So the first work in progress that I'm going to show is living in this little basket. Haven't done much progress on it, so that's why I'm showing it first. And it is my granny square crochet blanket. And I've talked about how this project, I had the yarn and the inspiration to make something with this yarn, but I had a hard time deciding what it was. You can read about that, or hear about that in my previous post, but here is the progress that I've made. I am working granny squares with a navy blue border. So I'm using this medallion-y looking pattern, circles, and then the details. 2, 3, love this one, 4, and 5 squares done, ready to be sewn together, but I want to have more of them done so I can kind of put them out and decide on the spacing. And then I have finished centers. 1, it's matching 2. Oh no, those are 2 different yarns. Slightly different. This one has more green. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I really do like how it's not just a circle turned square, but it actually has these little details at the edge that gives it a little extra. So I've gotten that much done, and I need to work on it. I feel like it's getting warmer, and the time will come where it's too hot for me to sit and work on a sweater or a big woolly project, and working on these squares will be absolutely perfect. And oh, there's another one in here all scrunched up. So 7-ish centers done. And then I'm using a navy blue Cascade Heritage yarn, held double. And then all of my centers are different fingering weight yarns, also held double. And got some more oranges in here, a blue left over from an old sweater that I made. And so I'm getting to the point where I have little pieces left that I'm probably going to end up pairing with another one to hold it double, and then be able to make more. Here's another one. My little pile. Like 8 centers already done. I do need to order more of this yarn, and it takes a while to get here, so I should probably do that today. But yeah, so that is my blanket, and I'm hoping to make just a throw blanket size. We'll see how far I get, how much yarn I go through. I can always order extra minis as they come out, as long as they're within the orange or blue family. That's my plan of that. So that's my crochet square crochet squares, granny blanket. Not so granny because grannies are slightly different. I am also working on a summer top, and this is, let me look, I have it pulled up. It is called the Tip Top Tank Top. Tip Top Tank Top. The Tip Top Tank Top, and it's worked from the bottom up. And I've gotten this much of the body done. It has some purl bumps here. So I need to get to 30 centimeters. I'm probably at about 25 centimeters so far. And this is going to be the bottom, and then it comes up like a tank top, split and do hems along the neck and the arms. It's got a split hem. And so this is my nap time project. I've been working on it in the car while my son naps. I was actually looking at the inside of it. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell because it's black yarn, but you can really see the ridge that's done on the sides a lot more. And so I'm thinking if I'm careful enough on how I do it, I might be able to actually do it inside out and have the texture be not stockinette, but reverse stockinette. So we'll see when it gets to the point where I have to make things that'll make a difference between front and back, what that will look like. This one's living in my little, this is a lunch sack pouch that I've converted into a little project bag. Super easy to plop into other stuff. Little zip drawstring at the top, closes it. I've used one ball of yarn. I'm on my second one, and I have two more in here, so I'll have plenty of it. And this yarn is a Japanese, and it's a linen ramie cotton fingering, and it definitely has quite a bit of linen in it. I can feel that when I work with it. It definitely has that linen texture. I have another linen top that I actually have had for several years, and am really, really starting to enjoy wearing it because it's gotten a lot softer than when I first finished it. I remember that one being hard on my hands as well, and hard to make the gauge not come out really, really loose, which can happen sometimes. So I'm thinking I might need to just hang this one from the needles and let it kind of drape out and see how long it actually is coming out to be, because the stitches are going to sit different with the weight of it. But very excited to have a basic black tank top in a beautiful yarn. If I like how that one comes out, this yarn comes in more colors, and so I might do a second one or a third one. It gets very hot here, and if these are nice and cool, it'll be a nice addition to have to my summer knitted wardrobe. And last but not least is my summer cardigan that I am working on. And right now it has two sets of needles going through it. I finished a ball of yarn that I used to make the yoke of it, and I decided that I wanted to do the sleeve. Skip around on the project and get a sleeve done, because I then want to be able to try it on, and I want to try and get as much length as I can out of this one. I want to see how far I get, how much yarn I have after I'm finished with the sleeves, to see what here's a hand, to see what length of cardigan I can get. I can probably buy more of the yarn. I think I had 6 balls total. I only have the one I'm working on and an extra one right now in my bag. Excuse me. I hopefully can edit that out. But yeah, so progress on that one has been slow. But definitely picked that one up when I got to sleeves on this one. I sat on the sleeves for this for a little bit before I worked on them and put them out. So the silver cardigan is a wool cotton rambouillet. It's made by Dazuma. I also bought it here in Japan, and it is 40% wool, no, 40% cotton, 60% wool. I always think I can read. I know that I know the kanji for wool, but I always get it wrong. So um, that's that yarn, and I'm really excited to have it. I really want to finish it. This one's going to be perfect for having, now that it's getting warmer, I really want to finish it to have it for evenings when it gets breezy and cool, or if I'm inside waiting somewhere in the air conditioning, I have it. And this is just in a little pouch. It doesn't even all fit in it. I probably need to upgrade it to a bigger basket or project bag, but I don't have one available right now. So it's kind of sticking out of the bag here. And my main focus right now, just because it has gotten a little bit warmer, has been my black tank. But I do want the silver cardigan. Every time my husband and I go out for a little date night out to dinner, I'm like, I want a cardigan. And I'm kind of wishing I maybe would have bought the yarn in black and had a black cardigan to just go with everything. But I bought silver, so I'm not going to go back now. Maybe I'll go. If I really like it, I could make a second one. But I have so many projects that I want to do. I don't know if I'll get around to making seconds of anything this summer season. We will have to see. So those are my works in progress. And next up, we are going to talk about future projects and acquisitions kind of in one, and kind of some things I have going on. So be right back. And last but not least, I do have some acquisitions to share with you guys today. And I couldn't help myself, and I ordered some Knitting for Olive pure silk. It is summertime. I've seen so many people knitting with it, and I'm not the biggest fan of silk. I have a skein or two of yarn that have silk in them, and I feel like it does add softness, but it's a different kind of softness than the wool itself. And the two textures combined sometimes aren't my favorite. It is soft, but it's not at this. It's weird. It's silk. It's different. Like if you touch a silk fabric, you expect it to be really soft, and it is, but it's also sort of dry, I guess would be. Excuse me. It's dry, and that's the term that I would use for it. So I got the Knitting for Olive. This one is the putty color, so it's a white, a very bright white that I think will be really pretty in the summer to make either a tee or a tank top in. Probably going to lean towards the tank top depending on how my black tank top comes out. So I got 4 balls of it, which gives me the options of either doing a short sleeved t-shirt or a tank top. And with this being so thin of a yarn, I think it's going to be a labor of love. And I'm actually really excited to have a finished product made in this. So yeah, this is my one yarn acquisition that I got. I think that it is really quite, my washer just finished. It really is quite well priced for being pure silk, and I'm excited to work with it. I know a lot of people have worked with it. There's lots of patterns that have it. If you worked with it, let me know what you think and what pattern you did so that I can maybe look into it and maybe make a decision on what pattern. I've seen the Skyline Tee by, I think it's Tori Knits NYC, with the like saddle shoulder little detail here, and then it goes into a raglan little t-shirt. That one looks really cute with the little added detail at the shoulder, so that one might be in my future. Let me know what you've knit with the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. Like I said, I would love to just see what you do with that, and what my options might be for it. And last but not least, we're going to talk about this guy again. I finished writing up this sweater pattern, and it is currently in tech editing, and I am now looking for testers. This is my first time I've done this. I have 5 sizes, so I really need 5 or 10 testers. I wouldn't mind having 2 testers for each size, just because it is my first one. I'd like to have lots of eyes on the pattern. My daughter has worn this, and you can tell it's already peeling a little bit. I need to wash it and give it some maintenance, so I can do some photos with it. But this is the dandelion sweater, and the test knit starts in May 20th or soon thereafter, depending on how quickly I can get people to sign up to test knit for me. And then I'm going to try and give a good amount of time for the testing. And so this is a DK weight, and it only has the color work here with the double layer, so it really isn't a super heavy weight like the sweaters that have the stranded color work all throughout the entire sweater have 2 strands of yarn going, and so it's like twice the thickness. But this one only has the one little section, so it really is a fairly lightweight sweater, even though it is DK. So it's not as light as a fingering weight, but without the color work all the way through everywhere, it really does make an overall lightweight sweater. My daughter keeps taking it to school. As they turn on the air conditioning, she's been wearing it in school. And so along with getting my pattern written and sending it to a tech editor, I also picked up, because I want to knit another sample of it, picked up some colors that I thought were just really pretty. Same yarn as the original yarn, which is the Daily. It's also the Daily yarn, and it is by Okadaya. It's made in Japan. Dropped the ball. Anyway, so this is going to be for the top half, and then it'll transition into the silver. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am a big fan of gray, light grays. They don't do much for my complexion, but they are my favorite. They are a favorite color. So I'm going to be making a second sample of it. I just need to decide if I'm going to make a smaller size than my daughter's size that I can then gift to one of my nieces, or if I want to make the next size up for my daughter for her to wear next fall or as she continues to grow. And that's kind of where I'm leaning, because then her next niece down can inherit this one since it's still in really good shape, and then my daughter can move on to the next one. So if you would be willing to test knit or would be interested in that, I have a link down below to a little form. Fill out the form, and then I can get your email, and we can start communicating back and forth on test knitting this project for me. Yeah, the process of actually doing a pattern and all of that has been stressful and interesting and exciting all at once. There was a lot of mistakes that my tech editor found that I sort of knew were there, and I was just trying to get stuff done while also taking care of the kiddos. And there was mistakes in there that I should have caught, but I'm really glad that I got a tech editor, someone to look over it, and then also made me look back over it, because she's going through, line by line, increase by increase, checking all my stitch counts, and they were off, and I'm glad that I'm feeling a lot more confident in my pattern, in putting it out in the world. I have kind of put these like self-imposed deadlines by when I want to get certain things done. So then I make myself work on it. But really, there's no rush to get this done. This really is more of a fall type sweater. It I made it this spring, and it was actually super lovely for her to wear. So it's also, a great through the winter and into the spring sweater. But yeah, writing a pattern is a lot of work, and it's been really, really good. And I'm really excited to finally have this pattern written up so that I can share it so that more people can make it, because I think it's just absolutely darling. So yeah, like I said, if you're interested, please put your information on the drop down below. It'll probably be one of the first things that I write before I put in the rest of the show notes. But yeah, did I get it in the shot? There it is. This is the size 8 or 30-inch at the chest circumference. Yeah, very proud of this, very excited to have it working. It should be out sometime in August. This gives test knitters plenty of time, just because I also feel like this is my first pattern. I don't know very many people that knit that might be able to test knit for me. It's going to take me a while to get some test knitters and give them the time to then work their way through the pattern. But yeah, so this is my dandelion sweater that should be coming out in a few months once everything is completely done. And I'm really, really excited for that. So you'll probably be seeing me go through the second sample. It's going to start becoming my whip. And I'm really excited to work on that. I'll probably fly off the needle just because I'm so excited to get another pattern done and double check and make sure that all of my stitch counts as I graded it bigger worked out. But yeah, so super nervous, super excited about that. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I am so glad you're here. Please make sure to like and subscribe so that you can be notified when I make more videos. Like I said, I have a little mini series coming about knitting with mohair, which I'm really excited to kind of share my thoughts on. And then I should be having my regular weekly, or if I don't do it every week, it should be at least every other week, no more than that, podcast letting you know what I've been working on, what my progress is on all of these projects. So I hope that you have a great rest of your week and into the weekend, and that you get lots of knitting and making time, and that you find peace and joy in what you are making. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.